Hey, what's going on, guys? Lefty here. Today I wanted to show you guys my new and improved LMG build that I came up with. Uh, for a little bit of context, I really don't like the playstyle that I'm forced to do and forced to spec into for On the Ropes. Granted, it's very good, it's a lot of fun, but it's just not me. And so what I've done is I've tried to create a new meta build that I think might be better, if not compete with On the Ropes. So with that said, let's get right into it. To start this off, and the bread and butter of this build, we have the classic RPK, or any RPK for that matter, and the talents you're looking for is Frenzy, Allegro, and the third talent you want to be looking for Overlap, and I will explain once I get to the double barrel. But as our second gun, we have the Chatterbox, mostly for the talent here. Wall holster, reloading your weapon within 5 seconds of kill, grants a 20% rate of fire. And combine that with Frenzy, you're pretty much always granted and guaranteed some sort of rate of fire buff. And it is absolutely disgusting how fast it shoots. For our secondary gun, we have our double barrel sawed off with honestly very good talents here, but the main talent to look at is Overlapped. Because what Overlap does is it gives you a 5% rate of fire specifically when you have a shotgun with Overlap equipped. So if you put it on your double barrel sawed off, you now have a 5% rate of fire across the board for all your weapons. The reason I want to get Overlap on this guy is because this will give me 5% reload speed on my RPK, which will bring down the 2.7 that is at now even further. Going into the gear, before we get into the weapon mods, we have the Y'all mask for the weapon handling, health on kill skill power. Ideally, I could change the skill power for crit chance, but I do like to have a little bit more potency in my chem launcher heals, so I keep that here. The main talent to look for is dialed in, just so that way you can spec into accuracy on the LMG and make up for the stability there. The chest piece, I have LMG damage Petrov chest piece. I think it's very, very important to have when you run an LMG, a Petrov chest piece, or sorry, a Petrov piece somewhere, whether it be chest, holster, or backpack. The main attributes to look at here are weapon damage, headshot, and bonus armor. The skill power is nice and a little bit of a bonus, but it's mostly just so that way I can stay under my blue attribute requirement and give my chem launcher a little bit more potency, so it's a win-win. The main talent I have is Hardened. You don't need to have Hardened, but just having the survivability I think is very important. So that's why I have it. The holster is a little bit complicated, so I'm going to go over the backpack first and then come back to the holster. So in the backpack, we have a Raldi, and I run 2-piece, so that way I get accuracy headshot. I run bonus armor and weapon damage, and I ran the backpack instead of a Petrov backpack because this will roll higher, and this will roll higher than what Petrov offers. So I'm able to get more damage, but still have the same pieces, essentially. Now this is where it gets a little complicated because you can run Safeguard on here to limit yourself to 5 reds, but give yourself more survivability, which means you would have to either get rid of some mod slots or swap this out for something like a DNH holster with skill power and precise. But with that said, you want to, or I want to, I should say, reroll this to harden so that way I get even more survivability. And I'm looking to probably run efficient instead of safeguard, just so that way I can stack as much into damage as I possibly can with mods, attributes, and not limit myself as much as possible. Going back to the holster, right now I have a Douglas on Harding just for the accuracy buff. Right now crit chance just to give me a little bit more of extra potential damage, and this I want to reroll to precise or devastating. On the gloves is my second piece of Araldi. I have LMG damage, which can roll a little bit higher, but at the end of the day, it's still going to normalize down to 10. And then I want to get this to devastating or precise, and instead of compensated. But it's nice to have these compensated gloves for sure. And then finally, in my opinion, one of the most important pieces to really any build is the Gilligard knees, because it has a very, very high window for bonus armor rolls, as well as you get the 5% total armor, and then you can run a passive or an active talent, but I like to run cloaked or braced. Braced if I want to have more reload speed while in cover, cloaked if I'm face tanking and running around a little bit more. So going into weapon mods really quick, these could definitely be better. Ideally, I want to change the magazine, which is the headshot damage, for the 20% reload speed magazine. I have the hand stop to bring down my reload speed even more, and then accuracy and accuracy just to make my gun a little bit more accurate. Unfortunately, no mods in here, no mods in here, so this is sort of the main focus. Going into skills really quick, we have the chem launcher, just so that way I can heal. 3 charges, 50k HP. It's not too bad. It's not great. I don't have any mods on it just because the skill power is too low. Then I'm not going to be able to achieve anything, so I don't bother. Defender drone, same thing. It's just there to have as a skill. It's nice, no mods, but does what it needs to do. And then this is good for PvP and conflict, which is the concussion grenades, because it does 300k normalized compared to pretty much like the demolition grenade, which only does 100. So when you toss a grenade at somebody who's in cover, they're forced to roll out, or they're going to take a very large hit in their damage unless they have something like hazard protection or protection from explosive damage. This build, the reason why I love it so much, honestly, is because it can be taken in so many different directions. So one of the things that I started to theorycraft and work on is trading out 10% of my armor on hardened for 10% damage to armor. Now, I am giving up weapon handling, and I am giving up that 10% armor. However, I think that this might be a little bit more viable for PvP in particular. Once I have the talents rolled out, once I have everything theory crafted and min-maxed, I do think this would be better. But with that said, that'll be for another video. Very excited for that. Quickly before I go into the firing range, I just want to show off the actual stats of the build. I'm going to be focused on normalized because this is a PvP focused build. It isn't so much a PvE, so keep that in mind. Right now I have about 7.3 weapon damage. I want to try to get this to about 7.5. The crit chance, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. The crit chance, crit damage, this is just extra bonus. The headshot damage, sitting at 89% right now. I do want to try to get this up to about 100 plus. So I'm looking at 7.5 weapon damage and 100+% on the headshot. The reload time, I want to try to get this to about 2.5, which will happen once I get the proper mods and overlap. And the weapon handling bonus, which is very good, honestly, because just across the board, it will help with all these stats up here. And that's the stat page. All right, guys, so let me explain how this build exactly works. So in a conflict setting, for example, what you want to do is when you're leaving spawn, you want to start shooting your gun so that way you're all the way down to your first bullet. Right? Once you're at your first bullet, and let's say you're just about to round a corner where you know an enemy is, you're going to shoot this one bullet and get your reload, so that way you can have your frenzy proc and win the face trade. This frenzy proc will last for about 2 clips. Just about. Once I get the reload time down, it should do 2 clips exactly. Once we start to look at damage, let me just get this target a little bit closer. There we go. The damage for body, I'm about 25, give or take. I want to try to get that to 25, but I'm sitting at 24 exactly. And then for headshot, I'm about 46 right now, but I want to try to get that to 50, which I do think is doable. And now this is without damage to armor. This is just the raw damage itself, 25 and 46. At range, it doesn't really change because of the optimal range that's on an LMG. I don't really lose any damage at range, which is a very, very nice benefit. So guys, this is the Frenzy build. I'm very excited to be showing you guys this. I'm very happy about it because I don't feel locked down to a specific playstyle, and I don't feel locked down to having to only have 7 yellows and 3 reds and all these specifics. It's super flexible and a lot of fun to play with. With that said, guys, I do stream almost every day. I do love theory crafting. I'm doing this every day, coming up with new builds, grinding both in Dark Zone and in Conflict. So guys, if you want to come check that out, by all means, come say hi. More than welcome to have you. But until then, guys, make sure you do leave a comment, like, subscribe. It'd mean the world to me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.